I am delighted. They're back. They're here. MGC2, Miracle Glass Company, in the house. I'm standing in their, in amongst them, right in the middle of PQ1, our nice studio here in Glasgow. Miracle Glass Company, how are you? William?
Good, thank you.
Austin?
Very well, thank you, Vic.
And Andy?
I'm excellent, thanks, Vic.
Good. And you've all got microphones because you all sing and you all harmonise and you all sound great. What's the first of 4 tracks you're going to play us? But what's the first one? We'll chat after this.
This first one is our last single that came out earlier this year. It's called Mary Mary.
Okay, when you're ready, go for it. Little tuning issue there,
Listen, have you got 15 minutes?
Okay. Okay, here we go. Excellent whammy bar at the end there. Miracle Glass Company, the first of 4 live session tracks here on BBC Radio Scotland tonight. A rockin' version of Mary Mary. Now, MGC1, it's been out a wee while now, but it still sounds awesome, and it really put the band on the map. You've been out doing all sorts of good stuff. Tartan Week, tell us a bit about that, because that's something that's happened since I last saw you. William, what was that like, and how did that all come about in New York City?
It kind of come about because maybe started at Hogmanay, actually. I come out in the kilt for Hogmanay thinking that would be a good old idea, and then we had Tommy Slack working with us for the first time.
Yep.
He's basically the guy who does all our filming, all our photography. 0405 photography. He was on board for Hogmanay, and then he came up with the idea to go to New York for Tartan Week. He had some connections over there and things, so we went over for that to film a video for next single BB22, which will be playing later on. So for Tartan Week we went over, and Billy Connolly was the Grand Marshal. He was walking down. he looked great.
Yeah.
He looked amazing. He looked like so well. You hear he's not very well. He looked tremendous just walking down. He's really tall, obviously the big end. He's like, looked fantastic. We swaggered past him, basically said hello, went up to our spot, and then filmed our video as we walked down 6th Avenue.
So I've never been to Tartan Week. Now, it's one of these things, you see pictures of it. It can either look like an incredible celebration, a lot of fun. It can look a bit cheesy. I'm not sure. I mean, how did you feel about it? Was it a great experience?
It was pretty cool, yeah. I mean, obviously, in America, you've got a lot of kind of Scottish people, and then you've got a lot of people who are Scottish. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean, the difference.
Yeah, but there's a lot of love, so there's a lot of people come out and they're just celebrating all things Scottish. There's probably more Scottish than Scotland in New York at that point. So, yeah, it was cool. Great vibes. Really nice to be there.
And did you have a show there? I'm going to ask you all a question so that it goes around the room. Austin, did you actually...
We had a couple of shows there. We had one in what was it? Was it Greenwich Village? No.
Yeah, Greenwich Village.
Was it? No, it was.
Yeah, we did at Pianos. No, what was it? Pianos Bar.
It was
Ludlow Street, where the Velvet Underground used to have a flat.
Oh, cool. And how does the Miracle Glass Company sound go down in New York? I suppose as soon as you spoke in between the songs, they're like, they're Scottish, yeah!
It goes down better than it does here, and it goes down even better in Kansas City, where we are massive, right? In
really?
Kansas City, yeah, we're big in Kansas.
Yeah, well, I can imagine that. I mean, I can imagine the Americans taking to you.
We spoke to a guy the other day. He's got a big beard. He's a radio DJ over there, and 3 of the DJs are playing us on a station called Flight FM. And they gave Mary Mary something like 142 spins in the last month.
What?
Yeah, and they've just started playing BB22.
Oh,
we spoke to him. He's like, "You guys are the revolution. You're the greatest rock and roll band in the world." And that's tremendous.
Great.
He's got a Kansas accent. I can only do one American accent.
That's fine. We'll forgive you. And a lot of people think you're the greatest rock and roll band on the planet, and there's argument for that, I think. Tell us about what MGC1, that first album, that kind of impact, and how it's sort of moved on since then. Because you go from ultimately being a sort of brand new band, unsigned, to having a fan base.
Yeah, totally. It's been really cool. I mean, I guess in terms of how we've developed, I'd say we're trying to add a bit more sort of raw raucousness into the music now. That was quite like structured and things in their place, and just trying to get the biggest sound that a 3-piece can make. Basically, we've got 3 instruments and 3 vocals. I think on this next album we're a little bit more expansive in our sound, a bit more raw energy, and then a little bit more controlled niceness as well. So.
Okay, well, Mary Mary, which you just played, that's out as a single, BB22 or BB22, and that's coming out soon, and you're going to play that later. What else is on the album, and how does it differ from MGC1? I mean, Austin, where did you record it and all that?
We went to Chamber Studios in
Edinburgh.
And was it? Yeah, it was Chamber Studios in Granton. Yeah, so that was cool. It was like a little gang hut vibe, and we just, when the doors shut, that was the universe.
And it's got 2-inch tape as well, right? So you've got that lovely, warm analog sound, which I would imagine suits you. What did you go in with the exact songs for the album, or did you?
We recorded. We demoed everything, which was kind of difficult because we got pretty good demos on it, and it's that thing when you record a demo and you get a good vibe going on it, and then you've got to try and recreate it and hopefully surpass it, get it better. So there was a bit of a... We're not sure whether we have or not in all of them, but hopefully we have.
You've just got to get the final versions better than the demos, which is tough.
We were speaking about that in the canteen, yeah. Sometimes you kick out the jams in the demo in your rehearsal room, and then it's hard to get that vibe again in the studio.
Okay, and it's going to master tomorrow, you were saying?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So we're looking for a release later this year, let's just say autumn, right?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. And what kind of vibe melodically and sort of influence-wise and so on have we got on this album in comparison to the first one? William, what would you say?
Well, it's a big mix. I think the next song that we end up playing live for you will be a good example of that, where it's more of a punky vibe on that one. But all in all, I think it's a classic rock and roll sound, really.
Okay.
A couple of modern sounds on there, but it's based in classic rock, classic albums.
Well, I'm dying to hear it, and I know people. And by the way, you're going to get it on a different coloured piece of vinyl, because that blue vinyl is just lovely. The first album.
We haven't decided on colour yet, but I'm sure it'll be just as beautiful.